What's up, everybody? Hope your night was okay. Considering morning scone presented by Boudreaux's Bloody Mary mix, margarita mix. I watched what y'all watched last night. Still not exactly sure what I watched last night.
Big show.
What?
My
Boat show. All right.
cow show.
Lullaby show.
1,
1, 2.
3.
Let me take that away from you.
My dog.
Elma Ducks. All right, let's get started, y'all. Albertsons. I don't know where really to start. Jordy and I feel like we just finished Whiskey and Wine. And that was interesting. And I have a feeling this will be too. And Monday's show will be interesting. And where LSU's postseason destination is. And all kinds of interesting storylines here. I don't know where to start. I don't know, do you start with regulation? Do you go sequentially? Do you go to the end of regulation with the calls that happen there? Do we go into some of the overtimes? Do we talk about your inability to get a stop? Go back and talk about LSU having a chance to end the game in regulation if they get a first down and they decide to run the ball 3 times and punt. I don't know. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just wait and look at your comments and I'll talk about it in whatever order you want to talk about it. We'll say our good mornings, Don Borg, Jamie Fitch, Everett Himmel, Brian Myers, Derek Thomas, Cole Piers, Ryan Broussard. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad y'all are up. I don't even know if y'all heard this. God, there's even y'all probably saw about the fight where Kevin Falk punched a guy from, let me rephrase that. An A&M, a credentialed member on the A&M sideline punched Steve Cragthorpe, and Kevin Falk retaliated. What I was told from someone there is that former LSU assistant Damian Craig, who's now with Texas A&M, sprinted across the field and taunted Ed Ogeron as soon as the game ended before he could even get to Jimbo Fisher, and that's what prompted the whole interaction. So, stay classy, Damian Craig. And that was from someone firsthand on the sideline who watched it unfold. Dude, whatever. I mean, I'm so what a weird thing to watch unfold. John Wilson, good morning. Andrew Bear, Lee McCaffrey, Bruce Parker, Dale Crochet, good morning. Michael Godin, good morning. Tim Henderson. Tim said, I don't know if I've ever felt that way after game or even the next Sunday. God, let the crying begin. Tamara Palmer, good morning. You want to dance? Dance show? Papa. Mama. Papa, Mama. Home Depot. Scott Bork, good morning. Thomas Marion, good morning. Lee Hammonds. Lee McCaffrey, Kirk Taylor, Blake Battaglia, Jamie Fitch. What's up? A good night's sleep that'll help. Jamie, I don't know what you got. If you're watching this right now, I don't think you got a good night's sleep. Andrew said, please tell me you think the refs screwed us. So let's go through some of them, okay? First things first, Andrew. I'll put it to you this way. If you think you lost a game because of officials, you know how I feel. It's a loser mentality. Over the course of 200 plays, regulation, and 7 overtimes, you had plenty of opportunities to win that game. How about Jonathan Giles don't muff a punt and give up a touchdown? How about at the end of regulation, when you have the ball and a chance to end the game, actually go for the kill shot and never give them the ball back? You didn't. You punted. How about whenever A&M has the ball, instead of letting them on 3 plays go right down the field and get a game-winning touchdown pass, actually come up with a stop, especially when they have no timeouts. And after the 10-second runoff, after the review of the Delpit interception, they had 26 seconds left at their own 39-yard line. Bro, like, and then you get into 7 different overtimes where 7 different times you had an opportunity to end that game and you didn't do it. Like, it's hard for me just to sit here and say, yeah, the ref screwed us. I think there were some bad calls. Some of them I disagree with. Like, the 4th and 18 that everybody was complaining about with it being short, I think by now everyone's seen. If you haven't yet, go see it. It's obvious the yellow line was wrong by 2 yards. The kid made the first down by 2 yards. They were at the 39. The line to gain was like the 46 was the 48. The LSU 48. He got to the LSU 46. I mean, the line was wrong. And the SEC network has even admitted the line was wrong by 2 yards. It was not even close. So that was a first down. The play that everyone's talking about was the clock it play, obviously. There's a lot of confusion because the kid spiked the ball and there was 1 second left. There's a rule where you have to have 3 seconds to attempt a spike. And everyone's saying, well, there was only 2. When A&M if you remember the play after the 4th and 18, they convert, Mon throws a pass to the right sideline. And you couldn't tell if the kid got out of bounds or not. Well, they ruled he was in bounds, but the clock stops to move the chains. There were 5 seconds. There were 5 seconds when he caught the ball, fell, and they blew it dead. So they had 5 seconds to get to the line and spike the football. Snapped it with 2, spiked it 1 second. Like, I don't see what the big problem is with that. Now, I'll grant you, I've seen like a cut-up of the highlights of it. I would need to go back and watch the whole thing sequentially again. I have not done that, I'll grant you. Like, I will take time today and go watch the whole thing again so that when I go on air tomorrow, I'll have all of this very much in the forefront of my mind. But even still, 1 second, you got to make a play, man. You're DBU. Greedy Williams gave up a touchdown pass. Like, your best corner, the best corner in college football, gave up a damn touchdown pass with 1 second left, a chance to win the game, man. Like, make a play. Make a play. This doesn't matter. Like, hang on. So again, I'll grant y'all, like, I'll go back and watch this. See, Carl's saying that spike should have never happened. I'll need to go back and watch the whole thing in sequence again, but I'll remind you, A&M receiver makes the catch, he's down, play is blown dead with 5 seconds left. Remote. Whenever, and if you go back and watch it, I watched the matchup of the highlights. The ball is supposed to be whistled ready for play when the chains are set. The ball is whistled ready for play, and the chain gang is still 10 yards downfield. They're not even there yet. So technically, the official shouldn't have even whistled it ready for play yet. Like, I don't have as big of an issue with that as I do with, man, like, make a play. I mean, look, Cole Tracy was nails, but he also missed a 49-yarder in regulation. Make that different ball game. You know, like, you had so many chances that it's hard for me just to say blame the refs when plenty of blame falls on you too. I mean, Austin Deculus had 2 key false starts. You gave up 5 sacks in regulation. Let me make sure it might have been more than that. Hell, that was the last time I checked it. I mean, I know everybody's just going to want me to bitch and moan and wail like everybody else is. I get it, but it's just, that's not in my nature, man. You got so much in a game that you can control. You leave it up to someone else, that's your fault. LSU give up 6 sacks in that ball game. Anyway. There's another one where I know people are talking about in overtime where Sternberger catches the ball and Delpit hits his hand and the ball comes out and people want it to be ruled a fumble. I kind of get like, I don't think if you go to review, they're overturning that. Rule on the field was incomplete pass. There has to be indisputable evidence. I mean, he had not tucked the ball he had not pulled the ball into his body yet. The ball had hit his hands. He's starting to turn and bring it in as the helmet comes and hits him. Like, it's bang bang, you know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Right. I just let Ryan Orna go. I'm still drinking. Good for you, dude. Craig Dugas, I'm happy we can retire. Bet. That's true, man. And y'all, some of y'all are gonna be like, hey man, you can't make. Some of the people have been messaging me, hey man, you can't make Dwayne pay. Bull. Can't make Dwayne pay. That's lesson learned, kid. Don't bet. Colby Rosenthal, John Call, good morning. Lowell Cormier. Had to endure Black Friday shopping with the kids, mama, and now this. Ryan says Dave Aranda might be a little overrated, giving up 340 yards a game before last night. I don't think so. I think that defense, they got popped in the mouth in the first half by a talented team and a really good play caller in Jimbo Fisher, and they suffocated Texas A&M in the second half. I mean, A&M did nothing in the second half until you know. I mean, A&M went punt, touchdown, after the muff. They went, so A&M went 3 and out, muff. They got the ball back, scored, then went 3 and out. LSU scoop and fumble, so scoop and score, 3 and out. And then the 4th down at the end of where it looked like the game was going to end, but LSU went 3 and out, punted. So man, I mean, before overtime, A&M didn't have 100 yards offense in the second half. I mean, I thought the adjustments defensively were awesome, and I thought LSU played their butt off, man. Anyway, Anthony Ray, what's up, dude? Good morning. Matt Boudreaux, Joe Wheeler, good morning. Austin Kidder, good morning. Lowell, come on, man. Lowell said Greedy Williams may want to consider another year at LSU. He's not NFL ready, but he better stop. Greedy Williams is the best cornerback in the country, and he's awesome, and he's going to go pro, and he's going to be the first quarterback taken in the draft. I mean, every cornerback gets beat. Everyone. Best in the world. They get beat sometimes. Got to shake it off and come back. He made a share plays, too. John Wagley, good morning. Ryan Chenevert, Brant Fowler, good morning. Jerry Reynolds said, good morning, Matt. There were bad calls, and you're right. It should not have gone that long. You had your shots, man. Grant Vayon, make the field goal. Don't fumble the punt return. We're not talking about this. Bingo. That's why, for me, it's so hard to just blame an official for a loss, because there's so much you can control over the course of 7 overtimes and 5 hours, you know. Anyway, Lee said there was a legal formation on that play, on the spike play. Here's what I know about that. The receivers were, so you had a quarterback, running back, and you had to have 2 more men off the line of scrimmage, right? And if you look, the receivers, all 4 on the right side of the formation, 2 had to be on the line, and then 2 had to be off the line. Receivers, they were all just standing there still. So it wasn't like there was any motion. And typically, you'll see it. Receivers come to, and they'll point to the official to make sure that they're good in their alignment. The official was standing right there. If he missed it, that should have been a runoff. In that moment, I didn't think it. I think that's LSU fans screenshotting things to try to. Anyway, whatever. Craig, the fact of football life, control the controllables. Very true. Cole, Matt, what do you think about the refs not reviewing the catch and fumble by the A&M tight end? Again, like all I can tell you is in real time, I said in real time, I went, oh, incomplete pass. Like that was my in real time reaction. So that was obviously the same reaction that the official had. My point is, like, to go review it, like, someone had to have disagreed and said, hey, let's take a look at that. I don't know that basically when you're slowing it down, if there's anything you could have said definitively. And if it's a judgment call like that on the field, they're going to stay with what's on the field. I just, like, that's one that in real time, I didn't think. That was one in real time I didn't think was a fumble. Like, honestly. Like, when I was watching it, my reaction watching it was always incomplete pass. Yeah, it's a huge play, man. I mean, that ends the game, potentially. You know, you're another beat. You know, if Sternberger, like, literally another half second and pulling the ball into his body and getting upfield, it's fumble. But it's on his hands. He starts to turn, and as he's like starting to bring it into his body, that's whenever the helmet hits his hands. I mean, that's in super duper slow mo. Lee said Giles needs to be released. I feel bad for the kid, man. I feel bad for him. I feel bad to keep running him out there, man. Sean Pumphrey, David Richardson, Lynn Arsenault. What's up, y'all? Oh, Jesus. There's 166 people watching this right now. We got a big crowd this morning. Our regulars, I'm going to share this on my page. We got a big crowd, y'all. I'm going to share it on the ESPN page, too. Oh, the other thing. I don't know if y'all heard this. So, LSU's buses last night, or the plane, listen to this. Listen to this. Oh, my God. The plane couldn't land in Baton Rouge because of fog. The team plane, right? So LSU flies, they play a 7 overtime game. They can't fly. They fly out of College Station. They can't land in Baton Rouge because of fog, so they have to go to New Orleans. Well, they don't have buses waiting on them in New Orleans. So they have to sit on the plane for more than an hour waiting on buses to come pick them up and then bus an hour back to Baton Rouge. They didn't get back to Baton Rouge till almost 6 a.m. What a night. Oh, my God. Now, Mark Abear, I'll agree with that. Mark said fix OT. I agree with that. Hey, baby. What? What? Huh? Oh, yeah? Mama. What you doing this morning, bud? You having a good morning? You want to say hi to everybody? All these people watching this morning. People are upset, bud. LSU lost the game last night. Clap hands for Home Depot. Home Depot is where we go. Love you. Home Depot. Clap hands for Home Depot. Clap hands for Pup Boss Truck. Pup Boss Truck. Costs $1.
Seat.
Clap hands for Pup Boss Seat. Pup Boss Seat is relieved.
Mama.
Clap hands for Mama's car. Mama's car goes very far. Love you. I love you. Okay, go watch Poetry Show. I love you. Let's see. Carl, it was huge. Bud Giles dropping the punt. No doubt, bro. Let's see. Chris Chandler, good morning. Mark Semino, what bowl are we looking at? Hey. So we talked about this a bit last night, and I was kind of the only one all week who was shouting this. I still think at 9-3, clap hands for Mama's car. Mama's car.
Mama house.
Clap hands for Mama's house. Mama's house is Mickey Mouse. I think with at 9-3, LSU can still end up in a New Year's Six game. It's probably the Peach Bowl.
Mama.
Clap hands for Mama comes home. Mama, please clap hands for Drew be alone.
Home Depot.
Clap hands for Home Depot. Home Depot is where we go. Okay, bud. Hey, listen, Daddy has to do Dad's show. Okay, go watch Lullaby Show. Go watch Lullaby Show.
Daddy.
You know, I think what? What?
Daddy.
Dr. B?
One.
Did you say Coco and Dr. B?
2.
1, 2, 3. So, Drew, you're killing me.
Mama.
Okay.
Mama.
Clap hands for Mama comes home. Come on, please clap hands for Drew. Chuck, he did not take 2 steps. Come on, bro. Get real. He's starting to turn. Come on, man. Clap hands for Mama comes home. Mama, please clap hands for Drew be alone. Home Depot. And Cole said, Matt, get ready for calls Monday. You better rest up. I'm ready, man. Lullaby show.
Lullaby show.
Let's see. What, baby? What? Use your words. Dr. B. Okay. I love you. Jimmy Vadrine, good morning. Jason Hewitt. Let's see. The hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, listen. Come see. We're gonna go watch the Lullaby Show. Okay. He's kind of clingy this morning, y'all. He didn't get to see me last night. So when you look at bowl destinations, I think it's going to depend on what happens next weekend, obviously. If you assume Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame all in the playoff, what happens at the 4th spot? Likely it's going to be between, if Oklahoma beats Texas and Ohio State beats Northwestern, it comes down to those two. One loss, Big 10 or Big 12 champion. My vote would be Oklahoma because they have their loss would have been to Texas and they would have avenged that loss. I think Ohio State's 30-point loss to Purdue looks far worse, and Oklahoma has a chance at a better game next weekend, whereas Ohio State's going to play Northwestern, which is a 4-loss team. So that would mean, Ohio State to the Rose Bowl against the Pac-12 champion. I think Washington State losing throws a wrench into LSU's plans because 10-2 Washington State likely gets in. I think what it kind of comes down to is, like for the final spot, you'd be looking at like 9-3 Florida or 9-3 LSU. Now LSU's got a better strength of schedule. Florida will have won its last game and beat LSU head to head, so maybe Florida gets some out over LSU. Art show. Seat. Can y'all still see me? Because I'm just seeing like this scrambled waveform on my screen right now. Dad show. I know, Bubba. Let's see if this is still working. I'll just do it like this, show. Oh yeah, we're still live. All right. Drew, baby, come on now. My Facebook page over here malfunctioned. Oh, there we go. Sorry, y'all. Y'all dizzy yet? Sorry. There we go. All right. Oh, man. All right. Get back to y'all's comments. So anyway, I think most likely what it will come down to is a 9-3 LSU and a 9-3 Florida for what will probably amount to the last at-large spot. I will also be interested to see what happens with Central Florida, because now without Mackenzie Milton, what if they lose to Memphis next week? Then it's possible a group of 5 doesn't get in. Whitney, bro, they wanted the rivalry with LSU and A&M. They got it. Games like last night will certainly do it. The issue with Steve Cragthorpe was bad. I'm interested to learn more about exactly how it happened. I was told that that the guy who threw the punch was Sean McGuire, or the guy fighting with Kevin Falk was Sean McGuire, who's a GA at Texas A&M, and you might remember he played quarterback at Florida State. I was told that was the guy in the picture with Kevin Falk. Honestly, all that clap hand session should make everyone feel better. Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm not as upset as everybody, because he's just my daily, I say it all the time, he's my daily dose of perspective. Nothing ever seems to matter as much anymore since he came around. Craig Schilling, Matt needs a sponsor on his AirPods. If they want to reimburse me and I'll wear them every day, that's fine with me. Or you say like put a sponsor logo on there. Andrew said, what's Damien Craig's beef with LSU? Probably that he wasn't retained. It was 2 years ago, like, hey man, see ya. And look, I don't want it to sound like I'm kicking the guy, after a thing like that, but I mean, when he was on, there's a reason he was only on staff for a year. And it's surprising for a guy that played quarterback in the SEC, but he's a great recruiter, but as far as X's and O's, gave LSU 0. And that's surprising. Fresh market. But I think it's also one of the primary reasons why you haven't seen him get a coordinator job or anything significant like that, although he's wanted it. And I don't know if he had a beef with O when he was on staff or anything like that, but go look at Justin Vincent's tweet. Justin Vincent's tweet last night was like, I know what you did, DC. It's Bush League. I'm right here. Whatever sort of thing. Let's see. Grant said, is it me or did he not get the first down on 4th and 18? Grant, he did get the first down, so that's something that the SEC Network has clarified. The Advocate published a clarification on it. He needed to get to the 48, the LSU 48. He got to the 46. The line was at like the 40. Or the 43. I'm confusing if it's like the 41-43 or for the 46-40 lullaby show. But he got the first down by 2 yards. Albertsons. That's why they didn't review. He got the first down by 2 yards. They had the line off by 2 yards. He needed 18. He got 20 on the play. I don't know how you missed the yellow line that badly, but they did. Anyway. Charlie said they made the plays 3 times that game that should have been over, only to have it taken away from them. Well, if you're talking fresh market, if you're talking about Delpit's interception, I mean, Mond's knee was down. Can we at least agree on that? Like, when they went back and reviewed it, Kellen Mond's knee was down. Like, he was down. Kid's knee was on the ground. He was touching the football. That was pretty clear. That is an incredibly fortunate break. But his knee was down. Fresh market. We'll go there later, baby. I don't know what other ones you're talking about. Like, I would love to get a. See, this is the problem. Okay, like, whenever the Devin White thing happened, I reached out to the SEC office and wanted to get Steve Shaw on my show to get the head of officiating to explain this very controversial thing that's caused a lot of angst. And I was told flatly, we're not going to put Steve on the radio, because if we put Steve on radio this week, then every week when there's a controversial call, and there's a controversial call every single week, then he's going to have to run out there. But in my opinion, this is one of those ones where, man, you got to say something. Like, for this reason, and it's more lullaby show. Oh, lullaby show's over. I'm sorry, baby. Okay, thank you for coming to get me. He wants me to restart lullaby show. Thank you. That was very good, Drew. See, that's really good. He came and got me and said lullaby show. Wanted me to restart his show. Whereas in a bygone time, Drew would have just sat there and cried. I would have had to guess. Brian K-Spawn. Drew loves his dad. Thank you, Brian. He does. It's my little dude, man. But this is one. This is one of those times. Back to the point about it, where, like, Steve Shaw, the SEC, like, you gotta say something, because you can't let there be that over in a game like that. You can't let there be that many plays where there's ambiguity and people thinking like that your guys missed that many calls. Like, and maybe they missed some, but you got to explain it. You got to explain why they were called the way they were. You can't just let that linger. I mean, that's going to be my big... So, like, I know some of y'all laughed at me for this, but whenever the Devin White thing happened, because the SEC won't speak out, I just started calling everybody I know. It's a college official and saying, how would you have ruled it? What did you see? Because they all lived that. And the consensus was with the White thing that, yeah, I mean, by the letter of the law, it was targeting. So, like, at least give me an explanation. You know, give me an explanation as to why all this happened the way it did. Don't leave it to, like, to media people who aren't trained on all this stuff to try to explain it. Anyway. Well, will they big a change at OC next year? Carl asking about OC. I think that's up to Ensminger, man. I think that's up to Ensminger if he wants to come back. I don't think Ed's firing Ensminger, if that's what y'all are asking me. You sign him to a 2-year deal, $800K per year. I don't think you want more turnover on your offensive staff. But if let's say hypothetically Ensminger decides that he's done, he's going to retire or whatever, I don't know. If the job came open, Kingsbury wouldn't be my first choice. I don't like the idea of the air raid in the SEC. And I think Kingsbury probably gets a chance to go be a head coach somewhere else if he wants it at a lower school. Janet said, where was Clyde most of the game? That's a good question, Janet. Well, they went heavy with Burrow running the football. But, you know, early in the game, Clyde and Brissett were, just totally ineffective, which is why Joe started running. Essentially, A&M, it was interesting because A&M defensively said, all right, because we talked all week, their pass defense is what was suspect. So, A&M's Mike Elko, their defensive coordinator, his adjustment was clap hands for mama comes home. Their adjustment was they were going to rush 3 or 4 all game and drop coverage and play coverage and not give up big plays in the passing game and make LSU nibble, right, instead of biting off big chunks. And so because when Burrow, every time he dropped back to pass, there was 7 men in coverage. They're covering 3 or 4. Nobody was open. Burrow would take off because that's what was there. Boy, he had some big conversions with his feet, But just straight running lanes weren't there, man, because A&M's run defense is really good. I love you. 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 Mommy. Mommy's sleeping, buddy. Mommy. So Erica was decorating the Christmas tree last night during the game, and Fresh Market, and they're on the 2-point conversion in the 7th overtime, and so she spent all day, right, putting lights on the tree and deck all, and 2/3 of the tree lights just went out, and she just started crying because she'd spent all the Home Depot, she'd spent all this time on the tree. And so I'm I've got a wife crying because I got this super intense game in the 7th overtime, and Jordy and I still have to do whiskey and wine. And I'm luckily, she traced all the strands and found where, one of the connectors had sort of gotten loose, and she plugged it back into work. But there was about a 20-minute, period of tears there. Michael Cooper, the refs robbed LSU. Michael Cooper, LSU robbed LSU also. Don't miss a field goal. Don't muff a punt. Don't give up touchdowns, 7 overtimes. You had plenty of chances to win the game. So I know there's a lot of people that ain't going to be happy with me with that. But, if you want to just go bitch and moan about officials, like if that's your thing today, if that's what you want to do, if you just want to go complain about officials today or tomorrow or whenever, that I'm not the guy to come see. Like, it's just, and it's not just in sports, it's just in my DNA. I don't like people that aren't accountable. Like, I should say I don't like people, that's not what I mean. Like, I don't like when people aren't accountable. And over the course of a 5-hour football game where there were 200 plays run and you had so many opportunities to win that in regulation and you didn't do it, like, I have a hard time just blanketly saying the refs blew the game for you. So that's just in my nature. So, sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry about that. You want to win? Go win. Giles muffed a punt. Cole Tracy missed a field goal. You had a chance with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the ball game on a 3rd and 4 to make a pass, to make a play, go get a first down and end the game because they were out of timeouts, and instead you decided to run the ball. You get stuffed and you have to punt to them. Even after you punted to them, they, with no timeouts, had to go 70 yards, and you let them do it. Sorry, man. Your DBU make a play. LSU didn't. So, sorry. Y'all still here? Dude. So, the AirPods, if you tap them, it calls SIRI. So I scratched my ear, and that was apparently they took that as a tap. So that was SIRI. Anyway, let's see.
Mama.
200 plus max.
Mama.
Let's see.
Mama.
Home Depot. Drew is cool. Thank you, Jeffrey Parker. Patrick Booker. What y'all talking about? Gary Danielson. Jeremy Brinkmeyer. We lost the game. We went conservative on the goal line in overtime. Made them only scored a field goal. That's true. Hey. Well, Anthony Vento, are we going to the Outback Bowl? Well, I think it's, hey, baby. Okay. I think it's safe to say LSU's not going to go back to the citrus for a 3rd consecutive year. I will be interested to see what transpires this next weekend, but the worst thing that could happen for LSU would be Texas winning the Big 12, because then Texas would go QRT W. We're gonna finish W X Y and Z. Fresh Market. Yay! Yay! Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Yay! 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 What are you doing, Goof? You poo-poo. What are you talking about? You poo-poo. Huh? Swing. Tree. Oh, tree. Is your tree in the other room? Go get your tree. You want me to come start your tree? Go get your tree. So Erica buys all these Christmas things that all sing and make noise, and Drew just wants to play them all the time. Anyway. David Brewerton, what's up, Brew? Good to see you, man. Jeremy Wheeler, very unusual game last night. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. LSU Has the game won several times. All the breaks and calls went A&M's way. It was rough late, man, for sure. Like, there's no doubt. If they could have ruled that pass to the tight end fumble. I also think when you get in that moment, like, maybe I'm psychoanalyzing a little bit here, but I think when you're in that moment and you have the perception the first thing goes against you, and that would have been the Delpit pick, right? It's over. It's over. I mean, Ogeron gets his Gatorade bath, or Powerade bath, because LSU is a Coke school. So Ogeron gets his Powerade bath. It's over. Delpit gets the pick. He goes down on knee. It's ball game, right? And that's like, oh, hold on. Like, I walked away. Like, I came in here to start doing whiskey and wine. I went and, used the bathroom and took a leak and then came in here. But when I walked by the TV and I saw it's like, they're still there. And it's like, the red bar is like, call under review. And I'm going, the review? What? I had no clue what they were reviewing. But so that happens and they give them another play. And then they complete a pass. And then they complete 4th and 18. And you're like, oh, God. And so then I think in that moment now you're starting to think, like, now you're compiling everything in your mind. Like, you're letting it build up in your mind like it's all going against you. And so it just, it magnifies everything, if that makes sense. Matt Anderson, we missed a field goal, muffed punt, overcame it, up 31-24, got robbed with 3 seconds left. I don't, again, I'm going to have to go back and watch the sequence at the end of the game, like, before that final play. Because what I watched this morning, and it wasn't the full game highlight, it was a mashup of it, but after the 4th and 18, Mond makes a pass to the right sideline that set up the final play. The kid might have gotten out of bounds. Like, I thought he landed on the out-of-bounds line and they were going to stop the clock. But anyway, they stopped the clock for first down with 5 seconds left. There were 5 seconds. Like, the clock doesn't start till they're ready for play. So, why does everybody keep saying 1 second? Like, the kid was down with, like, he caught the ball, they rolled in bounds with 5 seconds left. Like, that's where I'm getting crossways right now. And then they got to the line, spiked it with 1 second left. And the ball clearly hit the ground on the spike, clearly hit the ground with 1 second left. Like, I didn't have a problem with that. The problem that people seem to think is, like, that there was, less than 3 seconds when he spiked it, or there was formation, or whatever. Fine, all that. But the whole 1 second thing I don't get, because, again, on the play, the kid was down. There was 5 seconds on the clock when the official blew it dead. Gary Burke at the early Gatorade bath does it every time. Isn't it weird? Like, LSU just Guy Morris that thing. For as much as we've laughed about Guy all these years, we've laughed about Guy Morris before the Bluegrass Miracle. It just happened. It just happened to LSU. Oh, my God. William Ivey, I thought we should have gone for 2 in the second overtime. Clear the defense was gas. William, I don't think that's a bad idea, man. I said this last night on Whiskey and Wine. I was honestly stunned that Jimbo Fisher didn't go for 2 at the end of regulation. When they throw the touchdown in the back of the end zone, no time left on the clock. And that moment, I'm like, you got LSU on their heels. They're stunned. They were celebrating. Now they're about to lose. You got 1 play, 3 yards, dial up whatever you got, a run-pass option, and go try to win the game and live with the result. I mean, we saw West Virginia do that against Texas. We saw Oklahoma State try to do it against Oklahoma. Had the play there, just missed it. Maryland did it against Ohio State. Play was there, kid just missed the throw. Anyway, I thought for sure Jimbo was going to go for it right there at the end of regulation, try to win the game. But yes, to your point, team swap field goals and overtime. Like, how about Cole Tracy nailing the 50-yarder in the first overtime? If there's one positive to last night, one positive, I think Cole Tracy probably won the Groves last night. The kid from Syracuse missed a kick in his game, and Cole Tracy was perfect on 9 or 10 PATs, whatever it was, 9 PATs, and made the field goal in regulation, made the 50-yarder in overtime, and made a and made a. Well, I don't know what the distance was in the fourth overtime on that field goal. It was short, though. But either way, I mean, he made 2 in overtime, including a 50-yarder. I think Cole Tracy won the Groza last night. And he made a 49-yarder. Or what was the one in regulation? It's all running together. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, I think Cole Tracy won the Groza last night, which is really cool. Grant Males, does O get an extension? Probably, yeah. I think you have to have coaches with 5 years on their contract. So that way, even if it's just rolling over a year for recruiting purposes, so nobody can go negative recruit against you. You've got to, even if it's a token year on the end. I mean, you've got to do it. Let's see, Jesse McCormick. Good morning, Corey Falcon. Thank you. That's very nice. Talking about Drew. Drew doing his alphabet. If Georgia wins and makes the playoffs, why wouldn't we go to the Sugar? A&M goes Sugar. No, A&M will not go. So A&M's not going to be ranked higher than LSU. So Andrew, if Georgia wins, they would most certainly make the playoff. The question is what happens to Bama. Does Bama make it as the 4 seed? Because if Georgia wins and makes the playoff and Bama falls out, then Bama would go Sugar. Sugar is designated for the highest ranked SEC team that does not make the playoff. So go back to 2015. Bama makes the playoff. Ole Miss goes to the Sugar at 9-3. They played Oklahoma State in that game, if you remember. So it's SEC Big 12. I don't think LSU is going to end up as the highest rated team outside of the playoff. Because I'll put it to you this way, it would if Georgia beats Alabama, it does become very interesting, because most certainly Clemson, Notre Dame are in. If Georgia beats Alabama, they're in undoubtedly. So then what do you do with the 4th spot? 1 loss Big 12 champ Oklahoma, 1 loss Big 10 champ Ohio State, provided those 2 teams win, or 1 loss Bama. That's essentially your choices. And I don't know what they do. I have no idea what they would do. I mean, I'd love to tell you they leave Alabama out, but let's say Alabama gets in. Well, then the highest rated SEC team would go to the Sugar Bowl, and that would be either LSU or Florida, depending on what the committee does. So this week's committee rankings are actually relevant for that, to see if they keep LSU ahead of Florida. They're both 9-3. LSU, Florida has the head-to-head against LSU, but LSU probably has a better strength of schedule at this point. And LSU's loss was a heartbreaking 7 overtime road loss that was controversial. So my guess is, well, I'd love to think that would work out for LSU, but I don't think Georgia's going to beat Alabama. I think Bama wins, goes to the playoff. Georgia goes to the Sugar Bowl, and then LSU and Florida essentially are going to be the committee's choice to see who ends up at the Peach. But it's really just a matter of which team does the committee value more, a 9-3 LSU or a 9-3 Florida. It's like Tuesday when the rankings come out, it's actually really relevant for LSU this week, because if they're higher rated than Florida, they're likely going to end up in a New Year's Six game. So, Bruce Parker, hey Matt, how about the LSU band? I know it sounds better in person, but on TV it sounded like they were breathing through their instruments all night long. I have no idea, man. Gary Topley, Deborah Eunice, good morning. Kevin Toller, Mike Vaccaro, what's up, everybody? Gatorade bath will give me PTSD the rest of my life. Oh, man. It was over. Matthew Moody, 4th and 18. Let's see, should have been turnover on downs. Matthew, we've clarified it a couple times. If you haven't seen it yet, the SEC Network clarified it. He got the first down. The yellow line was wrong by 2 yards. He needed 18. He got 20 on the reception. The line was just on the wrong side of the down marker. That's, of all of these things that everybody's talking about, the 4th and 18 is actually the easiest to explain, because it's been explained already. He needed 18. He got 20 on the reception. The line was just in the wrong place. the SEC networks even come out and said, yeah, the line was in the wrong spot. So, I mean, so think of it, you've got an official, you've got a side judge standing at the first down marker, looking down the line, and the catch is made here, 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. I mean, or beyond the first down marker. That was an obvious one. That's why they didn't review it. There was just, and they don't see the yellow line on the field. Obviously, the officials don't. So that was one that was confusing for TV viewers, but actually was the right call. What's up, cuz? Michael Moscona, Jeffrey Parker, Kingsbury getting fired. That was the report yesterday from a TV station in San Antonio. Chris Ray, Kyle Johnstone, Victor Howell, what's up, man? Matthew Gailey hit it while they were in illegal formation. 6 men in the backfield on the spike. Okay, so, all right. Ethan. So, Brandon Scott said 6 men in the backfield on spike. I took it as the other way, that they didn't have enough men in the backfield. They had too many men on the line of scrimmage. Come see. Either way, they have 4 receivers. They have a running back, a quarterback, 4 receivers on the right side of the formation, and a referee standing right there who probably told them if they were lined up or not. Like, anyway, like that's something nobody on the broadcast even considered. That's a Twitter, manifestation right there where everybody starts looking for things, and if you want to go screenshot it, okay, fine. I mean, I just for whatever. I know I'm just gonna upset people. It's just take matters in your own hands. Don't beg for an illegal formation call. Stop the pass in the end zone with 1 second left and it's over. Have your All-American cornerback come up with a play. He didn't. Oh my God. Storming. That came out of nowhere. Justin Peck, what's up? Mark Allen, good morning. Justin Hutchinson, good morning. Peekaboo. Matt Anderson said 3 seconds left when they're ready for play whistle. The rule is you cannot spike the ball with 3 seconds left. That's wrong, Matt. The rule is you have to have at least 3 seconds left. You can't line up for a spike if there's less than 3 seconds. So if there were 3 on the clock, then that's exactly what you needed. So you're wrong. That's the rule. David Richardson, what's up? Joey Graff, Troy LaBeouf, Courtney Gonsolin, good morning. La Bamba and Richie up in here. Hey, Aunt Nancy, good morning. Lawrence Robillard, what's up, dude? Mark Wilson. Well, we're going right around in circles right now. Derek Roussel, Gerard Landry, Matt Boyles. Gary, please tell me 7 overtime periods won't be used to pad Ensminger's offensive stats. They will. They all count. LSU's going to go up in some offensive categories after that. 500 yards and 70 points. That's so true. Kerry Morvant tuning in late. Does Ensminger step down? Figure Ogeron will not fire him. Kerry, I agree completely. I don't think Ogeron would nor should he fire Steve Ensminger. I thought they actually last night, for the most part, were pretty creative and found a way to move the football, particularly in the second half. But no, I don't think that he's going to fire Steve Ensminger. Maybe Steve steps down. I just, you hear things like, it's one of those things where, you got to be all in. And I don't know if Steve is. I don't know. Like, we don't get to talk to the coordinators and, maybe Steve wants to move on. Fresh Market. Seed. Fresh Market. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, man. Crap, sorry. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Nolan just posted the rule about the clock. If 1 or 2 seconds remain on the clock, there's only time for the offense to run a play. You can't spike it. You have to have 3 or more seconds to spike. Travis Valenti, good morning. Bama's going in regardless. Maybe. I don't know, man. Like if they go lose to Georgia, I don't know that they get in. You know, last year was an interesting scenario because they didn't lose the conference championship game. They sat by while other people lost and got in.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Craig Savoy, you can run the hamster wheel of excuses forever. At the end of the day, we make a first down in regulation, it's over. We make a stop on the 72-yard drive with no timeouts in regulation, it's over. And on and on. True. Take emotions out of the equation. The reality is we had numerous opportunities. Thank you, Craig. I'm glad that in this giant pile of cow dung of excuses, there's at least one glimmer of hope of someone who is rational and is actually willing to have a little bit of accountability. So yes, thank you very much for that, Craig Savoy. You get my gold star today. Hey Ray, good morning. Mark, if LSU picks up one first down before all the madness, all this is mute. Well, it's moot, but yes. But I guess that's the ref's fault. But yes, Mark, you and I agree. 2 gold stars today. Philip Peralt, Brian Arsenault, good morning. Chewy, how did Vandy beat Tennessee? Well, that's the most random comment in the history of the show. All the talk was about how Tennessee had beat good teams but lost to Vandy. Tennessee won a beaten Auburn, which is inexplicable. But they got housed last week by Missouri. And yeah, they got beat bad by Vandy yesterday too. So 3 wins in a row for Vandy now. These 3 wins, T-Bob and I looked it up on pregame yesterday. From like 1920-something to 2004, they'd only had 3 wins. And now they've got 3 in a row. It's crazy right now. Steve Menard, at least we still have the Saints. Very true. Michael Cooper, what's the worst bowl for LSU to land in? You have to define worst, Michael. Like, Citrus gets to make their pick, and I don't know that the Citrus is going to take LSU for a 3rd consecutive year. So in that case, then you're probably looking at Outback. Would they place LSU in the Outback, or would they place LSU in, like, Texas Bowl? Remember, LSU was 9-3 in 2015 when they went to or they were 8-3, actually, because they didn't play the McNeese game. So they were 8-3 and went to the Texas Bowl. They blew out Texas Tech. I mean, that I guess would be the worst case. But I still think I'm gonna hold true to this, man. I just think the committee has shown so much respect for LSU's resume at this point that even when you have that kind of a 7 overtime loss on the road where there was that much controversy, I don't think that they're just gonna plummet. Lullaby show. Oh, is it over? Daddy will put it back on for you. Thank you. Thank you for coming to get me and being patient. I'll have to take that kid for a ride in the car and get out of here. Let's see. A few more, y'all. Coach O gets an extension for beating Georgia. That's what our program is diminished to. And so, Andrew, I get your point. But the flip side of it is when Steve Spurrier was 67 years old and very clearly at the end of his time in South Carolina, he'd be asked over and over again, like every year, how much longer do you want to coach? And he'd go, 4 or 5 years. And the reason is because of recruiting. You can't have a coach under contract, a head coach under contract, for less than 4 or 5 years. And the reason is because teams will negative recruit. They'll go and say, you see, they're not convinced that guy's going to be there. That's why they won't give him a contract extension. That's why he's only got 3 years left on his deal. If you stay 4, you might not play for it. You know what I mean? So even if it's just a token year that you add on to the end of the contract, like Les's contract did this, it rolled over every time he'd win 8 games. So they win 8 games, they just automatically add a year to the end of the contract. So it's like, you do that for that purpose. It's the optics of it. It's not, hey, we're thrilled with the season you had. Here's a $20 million extension for another 10 years or whatever. It's just it's more for recruiting purposes, and I think that's one of those things you have to do. Brian Arsenault last night was LSU's bowl game. Can't get a better football game, unfortunately, for the officials. You had one job, the yellow line. They had more than one job, Carl, but yeah, that was bad. LSU has to stew over this for a month plus. I don't want to be on the other team that has to play them. I'm curious, Kirk, to see how they come back from it. Blake Battaglia, Derek Bordelon, good morning. Merrick Mathern, how does this team bounce back? I mean, I'll give Ogeron a ton of credit, man. He's gotten his team up off the mat in spots like this, and you have a month to get over it. You'll learn who your opponent is, decide if it's a game you want to play and a team you want to play, and go try and win a bowl game, man. A 9-win LSU squad still exceeded all expectations, and number 9 put this game on his shoulders, delivered one of his best performances. Delpa was really good. He did give up the touchdown, though, in the right side of the end zone in overtime. To 13. Got beat badly, too. Nolan Wright plus the OTs. We're back off the line. Too many misses on this game. Oh, OTs offensive tackles. Yeah, on the formation. Let's see. Nathan Velasquez. What's up, man? How about we just get the first down in regulation, not be so damn conservative? I agree with you, Lawrence. I thought for sure LSU on 3rd and 4 was going to throw the ball. And especially at that point of the game when you had used Leonard Fournette so effectively. A guy even tweeted me, he's like, hey, man, and say, hey, man, go back to that wheel route with Fournette. I'm like, they've run it twice. I don't think it'll be open again. Dude, that's another one. Ugh. How about Leonard Fournette dropping the wheel route? He would have walked in the end zone. Yeah. That's why it's so hard for me to blame officials, man. It's like you had so many opportunities to not let it come down to anything like that. Let's see. Jay Leger. Good morning. Can't believe our DBU couldn't stop Rogers Jr. ever last night. These kids made some good plays, man. Both teams did, man. Both teams made a ton of plays. Come on. I mean, LSU scored 72 points in that game. I mean, 7 overtimes, and you scored in every one of them, you know. So we could have gotten a stop. Let's see. Sean Pumphrey, do you think winning or losing the bowl game impacts recruiting? I just listen to the recruiting guys who all tell you, the result of one game isn't going to make an impact. You know, because the recruiting is done so far in advance that, recruits aren't just going to look at the result of one game and tell you that's the difference. Brian Sprague, did you see the picture of Kevin Falk slugging an Aggie? Yeah, we talked about it a little bit ago, Brian. Apparently that was a GA, Sean McGuire, who you might remember was a quarterback at Florida State under Jimbo. Apparently that was Sean McGuire. I don't know if McGuire or someone else did it, but somebody punched Steve Cragthorpe. And that Falk was retaliating after someone slugged Cragthorpe after the game. And I'm not speculating. That's been reported by people who were there that Cragthorpe got punched. I think LSU's confirmed that Steve Cragthorpe got punched. And that was Kevin Falk retaliating after Cragthorpe got punched. So good on you, 3. Go stand up for your guys, man. Mike, Bama, Florida A&M on the schedule every year. Trouble if no changes are made. You always got to assess, man. See, Michael Ulara, the odds the SEC issues a statement about the questionable no calls and the Kevin Falk-Craig altercations after the game. It's a good question, Michael. I mean, I mentioned it a little, again, so for some of you who've been watching this whole time, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I asked the SEC after the Devin White thing if Steve Shaw could be made available to come on my show to clarify. And they told me, we can't put Steve on your show because if we do it now, then every week when there's a call that people disagree with, there's going to be an expectation that, Steve would basically have to run his own radio show. My response then was, good. Let Steve do a weekly radio show where he talks about calls and explains things. I'd rather have information than people pissed off all the time. So my guess is they're not. My guess is they're not going to issue any statement. They're certainly not going to put Steve on the air. EJ Cambry, good morning, Matt. I know they had bad calls, but they converted a lot of plays we should have stopped. We allowed them to score with no time and no timeouts. I agree with you. That's another one, David. David Barrick said, didn't get how LSU didn't blitz the quarterback in the last 4 overtime periods. Clearly, with time, he was able to find open receivers. We rushed 3 and 4 at the most. That's a fair criticism. Essentially, I know what they were doing. Mobile quarterback, you're thinking just keep him contained and make him become a pocket passer. And if you drop 7 or 8 into coverage, then you have, 8 plus their 3 or 4 receivers. That's just a lot of people in the secondary, tight windows into small spaces. I get in theory what you're doing there. Instead of having man coverage on the outside, if your DB slips, could be ball game. So I get playing coverage there, I do. But I also understand your point. It almost ended in the first overtime when Deculus had the false start. That was 3rd and 12, and Mike Elko brought pressure, and they sacked Burrow. And so Cole Tracy had a line for a 50-yard. Now, thank God he made it. But, God, I'm going to miss Cole Tracy next year, y'all. Oh, how good is that kid? Just nails. Just like every time he goes out there, you just expect him to make the kick. Trampus Butler, Josh Sonia, Derek Langlois. Good morning, everybody. Kyle Johnstone said outcoached. I think A&M had the upper hand in the first half. I think LSU adjusted at halftime and undeniably had the upper hand in the second half. And then overtime was just a battle, man. Everybody made plays. Somebody had to lose eventually. Gary Burkett, my cousin lives in Norman. They're reporting Aranda to OU. I haven't seen any report. Look, Gary, if you have a report from a reputable news outlet, send me that. But don't get it crossways with like fans and message boards saying they want to go hire Dave Aranda. There's a big difference. So anyway, but if you have a link or something like that, send it to me, please. Because I'll look into it. Kirby LeBlanc, good morning. Dan Cox should have never gotten to 7 overtimes. Go get Kendall Browse or Hugh Freeze. Let's see. Jimmy said Outback, which is like crying faces. That's funny. Bennett, we lost because we were out of Gatorade for all the overtimes. No, I think it's a mix, so they just had to add water and mix it. So they probably had plenty of Gatorade, but yeah, they dumped it. They dumped it all out on Ocean. It's an interesting thought. Chewy said Oklahoma would be smart to make a play for Aranda, but he's not leaving for another DC job. I agree with that. He's not. I know he's not leaving for another DC job. He would leave for a head coaching job, though. Chase Livingston, good morning. Let's see. Anthony Geddes, first tweets I see this morning were for Damon Craig and Austin Thomas. I guess it does get worse. I need to go check. Titus Jackson, Russ Mitchell, put your foot on their throat and choke them out. That's what you learned last night. Charles Hooker, Clint Horner, Cassidy Russo, good morning. Tired, worn out, missing players, all of the above. Nick Oakway, good morning. Fulton was missed big time. That's true. Something we didn't talk about, But when they got going in the passing game, it would have been nice to have Christian Fulton out there. Justin Waldrop, Todd Thoreau, good morning. Glenn, good morning, Matt. Hope the bourbon helped you get a good night's sleep. Hard to fall asleep after a game like that. Glenn, truthfully, man, as weird as it sounds, like I don't ever have trouble sleeping, man. I guess I can compartmentalize. That sucked. By the time 7 overtimes came and went, my nerves were shot. You're watching it, and then you can't control anything. You're just watching all the drama play out the way it did. So, hell, man, that thing ended. We did whiskey and wine. I went to bed. I didn't have any trouble falling asleep, man. Brittany, why didn't Greedy cover number 13 more as the game went on? Good question. Because Kid 14 was making plays. Jamin Osborne's is a future NFL receiver. They got plenty of them. So, it's a bummer. Lee said if LSU could play 4 quarters of offense like they did in 7 overtimes, this offense would be fun to watch. You know, Lee, it's true. And clearly they had some bags of tricks. You know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire throwing the touchdown pass was fine. But it's one of the reasons I hate college overtime. There's a randomness to it that isn't football. And it's hokey. I hate it. I hate college overtime. It's a controlled 25-yard scrimmage. You take special teams and field position and the clock. How big was the clock at the end of regulation? You know what I mean? Like, all of that matters. All of that is part of football. And you take all of those elements out in college overtime. It's stupid. I hate college. It's like the term you go play. It's the same thing with like a shootout in soccer or PKs in soccer or shootout in hockey. It's like you go play this full game playing a different game, and now you're gonna. It's like if basketball decided they were gonna have a dunk contest as their overtime. You know, I mean, it's like what? Or they were gonna do, hey, we just played 48 minutes of full court, 5-on-5. Now we're gonna do half court, 3-on-3. Make them take them, call your own fouls, and that's gonna be our overtime. Like that's the equivalent of college overtime. It's stupid. Hal Jubin, Lucas Ragusa, Logan Bourgeois, good morning. Matthew Miller, if Giles doesn't fumble the punt, does the outcome of the game change? I believe in the butterfly effect, where like if you change something, it has a domino effect that changes everything subsequent, so you can't assume without the muff punt that everything else remains equal. But hell, at that point, like remember what was happening at that point of the game with the muff. At that point in the game, LSU... A&M gets the ball start the second half. They go 3 and out. LSU gets the ball. 15-play drive. Remember that? LSU starts the second half, 3 and out. LSU offensively goes 15 plays, scores the touchdown. The 3rd and 6 pass to Jefferson. You're tied. You hold A&M 3 and out. They got a punt. So now their defense, you've tied the game. You have all the momentum. Their defense was just on the field for 15 plays. Their offense goes 3 and out. Now their defense has to come right back out there. If you're LSU, this is where you seize control. You muff the punt. They get the ball scored. Now you're down 7. And then when LSU got the ball back, they went 3 and out and got sacked on the 3rd and 11. So actually got sacked on 2 of the 3 plays. On 1st and 3rd down, you got sacked. So all the momentum at that point had just shifted after the muff punt. So yeah, I think the game absolutely is very different without the muff punt. I think also A&M had a chance in the first half. Like everybody's talking about overtimes and all the officials. A&M had a chance in the first half to seemingly put LSU away. They're up 14-7 driving. They get the ball inside the 10-yard line. And LSU stiffens and they force a field goal. Remember this? And so it goes 17-7. And then LSU put together, they got the ball with a minute 52, put together a nice 2-minute drive and went and kicked a field goal right before half to make it 17-10 to make it a 7-point game. If A&M converts in the red zone, it's 21-7 going to half. And they get the ball to start the second half. If they had scored coming out, then you could have been talking about a 3-score game like that. So I guess my point is like that's why for me it's so hard to just look at a play or a call and say that's why you lost. Like no, look at all this stuff. I got 4 pages of notes from that game. You had so many chances, man. Anyway. Jeremy Morgan, what's up, cuz? Larry Bueller, Chad Yamarino, what's up? Akeem said the greedy PI was funny. He grabbed the receiver, man. And I don't know what he said to the official that caused him to throw the penalty for the unsportsmanlike, but he grabbed the receiver. Jeffrey Parker. He called Gary Danielson during an afternoon game. Oh, Steve Shaw. Oh, good. Call him. I hope he does. Kevin Graham, Bill Strassner, good morning. A&M quarterback stepped up in the pocket, threw a bullet when LSU's 90 and 45 collided. Yeah, that sucked. That was in the 5th overtime. Yeah. So in the 4th overtime, Jacob Phillips got ejected for targeting. Then in the 5th overtime, Divinity and Lawrence went out, and they put Ed Paris in. That's when they scored on the 4th down play. Remember, LSU's up 58-52. LSU's up 58-52. A&M needs to score. Fresh market. A&M needs to score to keep the game going. It's 4th down, and they throw the touchdown on Ed Paris on the right side. Beautiful catch by 13 where he extended. It looked like it was going to be out of his reach, but he extended. They missed the 2-point conversion, but oh man. Anyway. Kenny, hard reality, Jimbo beat us year 1. Yeah. Tough game. Eusebio, Gabriel, good morning. Jason Hatcher, good morning. Jace Lejeune, what's up? Austin Baca, good morning. The SEC wanted a rivalry. They got one now. Chad, only 3 penalties called against A&M. Unbelievable. But and LSU had 10, but LSU had, I know Deculus alone had 2 false starts. And LSU had 2 other delay of games. So, there's 4 right there that aren't debatable. Come on, man. That's true. Chewy said no Saints today means honey-do list gets done. True. Ron McDaniel, Shelly Melanson, what's up? Billy said, what's the relationship between Hugh Freeze and Coach O? Coach O hired Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss as an assistant, but it's my understanding that they don't get along great. O's never said that. Hugh's never said that, but publicly, why would they? But it's sort of the whisper. So for people assuming that O would go after Hugh Freeze, look at me. Look at me. Sean Gasser, Jason Hebert. Let's see, Brandon Shales. Just stop it. Why blame it on the players after a 7 overtime game? Never should have been 1 overtime. That's fine, Brandon. There shouldn't have been, right? Don't muff a punt. Don't miss a field goal. If your coaches go and convert a 3rd and 4 at the end of the game, they never get the ball back. If you don't give up a 70-yard drive when the team has 40 seconds and no timeouts, or 29 seconds and no timeouts, you're right. You're right, Brandon Shales. You're right. There wouldn't have been an overtime. But if you're blaming officials, you're an excuse maker. I got no tolerance for you. Go make plays. Jonathan, Foru, Brian Horvath, what's up? Now, this I agree with. Michael Andrews. Interesting how college football says they're worried about player safety, but allow games in overtime to play like that. Hypocrites. I completely agree with that. You just played a 5-hour football game that had 200 plays in it, man. I completely agree with that. Would you rather, serious question, would you rather a game end in a tie or lose a 7 overtime game like that that's basically a 25-yard exhibition? I'd rather tie. I know nobody wants a tie, but compared to the alternative of last night, playing a 7 overtime game like that, get out of here, man. Who needs that? All right, y'all. I'm going to wrap this up. Any more? I'm scrolling real quickly, y'all, to see if there's any more that I haven't talked about 10 times already. Let's see. All right, I think we're about done, y'all. Josh, any news about Kevin Falk after the game? I haven't heard anything else this morning. I mentioned this a bit ago. The LSU team plane it was because of fog in Baton Rouge. They had to land in New Orleans, and they didn't have buses, so they had to wait for an hour in New Orleans to get buses to then bus back to Baton Rouge. They didn't get back to Baton Rouge till almost 6 a.m. So I woke up this morning. Drew woke me up this morning at like 6:30, and I had text messages from Gordy. He's like, he explained that. It's like fog, had to land in New Orleans, waiting for an hour for buses. God bless. Anyway, all right. Yeah, see, Shelley said we feel differently about OT rules if LSU wins. I disagree, man. Like, for me anyway, I can't speak for the collective, but I'll tell you for me, I hate college overtime. I hate it. I hate, like we just talked about, the randomness of the whole format. It's like, I hate penalty kicks in soccer. I hate shootout in hockey. You go play this game for this 2-3 hour period with these rules that involve in football, 3.5 hours, whatever. There's special teams matter, and field position matters, and game clock matters, and all your time management, all that stuff matters. And then you go play this random 25-yard exhibition, and many of the elements of football go out of the window. So I hate it. I hate, regardless of who would have won last night, I hate college overtime. All right, y'all. Let's wrap this up. Thanks so much to Boudreaux's Bloody Mary Mix, Margarita Mix. If you live outside of Baton Rouge, of course, they got it at Calandro's, Mid-City Craft Wine and Brew, Canada's down in Homa, Calvin's in Bocage. If you live outside of Baton Rouge, boudreauxmix.com. Boudreauxmix.com. You can order. They'll ship anywhere. Maybe a great holiday gift or for your holiday party this time of year. Boudreauxmix.com. All right, y'all. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.